a Motorsport Podcast Network production. Hey everyone, great to have you on board. Aaron Noonan here, V8 Sleuth Podcast for the National Motor Racing Museum at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, where racing history comes to life. Visit the museum's Facebook page now for all the latest opening times and exhibition information. Later in the year, October, 1000 time, perfect time. There's always cool cars arriving and something happening and something changing. There's always something different to see there. If you're at the mountain in October, or indeed any other time, pop on in and check it out. Now, this is part 2 of my chat with Rob Starr, and we left part 1 with Craig Lowndes, the champ, in 1990, having, used 5 different HRT Commodores to seal the title. And it turned out to be the last time that Craig would win the championship. This part 2 starts as the Holden Racing Team really goes on a blitz, with Rob moved across to work with Mark Scaife. Now, Rob worked with Craig and Mark really closely. He's the perfect guy to compare and contrast them as drivers, members of the team, and guys, and talk about how they work together as teammates. And then, of course, the stress of the team being the leader of the pack and that expectation of winning. When you win lots, everyone expects you to keep on doing it. Right, let's rip in. Here's Rob Starr. It's part 2 of the V8 Sleuth podcast for the National Motor Racing Museum. By this stage, so 96 championship win, no 97, then the blitz starts. 98, 9, 2001, 2, like all the way through. Craig, Mark, you're tied in among all of them, actually, through there.
Yep.
But I'm really interested in, from the outside, I always had the impression, Craig was the Brock. I'll drive around it. I'll make it work. It'll be fine. Natural. Mark was intense, deliberate, worked really hard at the craft and put more in. Is that how it was from the inside? Like, were we getting the right take on that on the outside?
That's 100% right.
Really? Yeah.
Lowndesy, a lot of natural talent, and 100%. If you got the car close, he'll drive around the rest of it and get the result. Whereas Mark was, as you said, 100% more detailed. I need this, and he, to me, he was the biggest influence on my engineering side of it because he was so technical. I learned so much more of him. So, but he was fast with that as well. So he certainly, my progression in the engineering world of not being an engineer, he brought it in spades. So they're both really fantastic drivers, but they're both totally different.
Yeah.
Whereas, 100% Lowndesy was very much natural. Get it close. The cars were fast, and he good racecraft and speed, and he'd get the result. Whereas Mark had all that as well, but I think he made us keep on progressing, I feel, because he just keep bringing that, chasing that last 2%.
Yeah, and it adds up. That adds up over time. So, to backtrack, so 98, Craig wins the championship. We go VT Commodore as well. So you guys always got the pressure to perform, but then the pressure to build the new car and homologate the new car and deal with all the politics and all the. So like you're the homologation team, as we talk about now in supercars. That's you guys back then. So there's the expectation levels keep going up. The stakes keep going up because V8 supercars is getting, it's bigger and better.
Oh,
Channel 10, it's Adelaide Street Race.
It's a big sport now.
It was a big thing at that time, wasn't it?
It probably was AFL supercars.
It was big.
Cricket. It was really big. Great to be a part of. But as you said, it was a big circus, big crowds, merchandise sales, a whole lot. It was big.
Yours was the team that ran off T-shirts, is what a lot of people said, because the amount of T-shirts and merch that was sold was nuts.
But it was big bucks.
Yeah,
big bucks.
Huge.
And but the pressure, as you said.
Did you feel that, like in that when you start winning, the expectation is to keep winning?
Yeah, definitely. Admittedly, both drivers were a perfect pairing because they push each other so much, which it's the best combination in having in a team, that they've got respect for each other but push each other, and they both, when you got two of the fastest guys in the fastest cars. It should give you the best outcome, one way or the other. I guess that as a team perspective, that's what it was. But I remember in my last year with Craig, he'd moved to Queensland. He was hardly at the workshop. He turned up at the race meeting. He was fine. He was fast. But I felt the pressure probably more so because the biggest rival was the guy in the bay next to you, and he's in there every day and
At the workshop.
just doing what Scave does. He trying to find that extra bit. And I kept saying to Lance, you've got to come and give me some support. I need you. Because I ended up getting depressed by it, which sounds quite bizarre.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
The pressure, because we were still obviously in the championship hunt, and I remember I lost weight. I think I was down to 65 kgs, and it wasn't on. I was on antidepressants for a bit, just to try and
just calm it down.
Calm it down, and it was. I say it's bizarre because, I was stressing about my own team, but I guess it was because I was so, if you're on a car and running a car, you still want the best for that car. And, it wasn't, I felt I wasn't getting it. And, I cried out to him a few times, I need more support here.
I can't just have you parachuting in and out.
Yeah.
Like
and as I said, he's still, never still would say a bad thing about Lancey, but it was that side of it. To me, it was taking a personal toll on me, and and in reality, that was why I ended up swapping to Scafie, because I just, even Jeffrey said, look, maybe you should change, mate, because
it's not worth it to end up because you you want to win, you want to do well, you want to be doing the best you can do, and if you sort of feel like you kind of got an arm tied behind you.
Yeah, as I said,
and not because it was anything mean from Craig. It's just you weren't giving what you kind of needed.
Exactly, it was. Yeah, it wasn't like I certainly wouldn't say like I hate the guy and everything.
No.
It was just like I just mentally I'm not coping with it, and as I said, it was a pressure. You still had the pressure of Holden and everyone to deliver a championship, and it was probably one of the toughest years considering we won the championship.
I was going to say, you still won the championship, but among the call to roll over and new car in, new car out, the big win in Adelaide, which was awesome, the big fight from the back. So this is happening in the background that, on the surface we'd be saying, Robbie, what an awesome year you've had. But behind the scenes, you're kind of like, oof, actually, not really.
And even when I went to the doctor, he said, maybe you should change your job. No, you don't get me.
That's not an option here. We need to work on some other stuff. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And
that's. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's gone through motorsport. You can't have the pressure and all that without taking some toll at some point. And I haven't needed it since, and I'm certainly in a good place. But,
I appreciate it.
And again, it was hard on the missus as well. She saw what I'm going through.
Anyone who works in motor racing in any role, it's a hard. You're away a lot. There's stuff you miss. People have families and kids and stuff they miss. Like, it takes a toll on wives, girlfriends, husbands, everyone who's involved, partners, families. It's hard. It's actually not easy, and trying to get the balance. It's not a 9-to-5 job, no matter what if you're a mechanic, an engineer, race driver, a commentator, whatever it is, it's a different world. Is probably the right way to put it.
And I guess the weird thing about it at the end of the year, as you said, mechanics stayed with the cars, so we got to the end of the year and a discussion with Jeffro and all that, and he said, all right, we'll put you with Scafie, and Lowndes had come down at end of season with a frame suit for me. Comes into the bay, Robbie, here we go. And then you could see that there's now number 2 on the car. So I thought, geez, I hope Jeffro had told him something, but
that was how we found out.
No, it was like, I go, as you can see, mate,
we've swapped bays here.
So,
and that was so you stayed with your car.
Car,
so Craig's car from the end of 99, which I think was new for Bathurst, became Mark's car for 2000. And that's when you went all red, wasn't it? Because you'd been mobile Holden Racing Team, but then the Team Red era kicked in from there. Was it, so who worked with Mark? That he was a Krusty. Richard Holway started with him there.
In 90...
Well, hang on, we're going to 2000 years. So was it...
Well, Crust, I was still engineering.
Yes, you were on Scafie's car after Alex had left.
Yes.
You got an HSV.
Yep.
And was it Shiggy and Pete Smith, maybe? Oh, geez, mental blank. I should look up the book, shouldn't I?
For
2000.
2000, Matty Crawford was running it.
Matty Crawford was on,
and I think Shiggy was engineering.
Yeah.
Pete Smith was data.
Yeah.
And Krusty was out
on your side in two. Yeah. So there was this, and then of course there's this. So Craig wins 2 titles, and then this is the start of Mark's 3-peat in a row. But as the year goes on, the rumours start that Ford are interested in Craig Lowndes. And I remember first reading that story thinking, yeah, of course they are. Like, who wouldn't be?
Yeah, exactly.
But Ford were arming up and going to spend town. Oh, they had the checkbook out to do some stuff. And how much of taking back to what you were just saying before about the previous year, Craig living in Queensland by that stage, he did have a place, I think, in Melbourne. He did come and go a bit, but he was, his home was in Queensland. Did that really open up that next year, that divide a little bit more where had he been in Melbourne, it might not have worked out the way it worked out?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think even Natalie at the time was, they're siding with Mark now, and all that sort of stuff started to come out. They took Robbie off us and all that sort of shit. Which is, as I said, it was nothing to do with that, but that was perceived.
Yeah,
what it was happening, but and again, Lanzi was still drawing good, and you can't blame Ford for wanting to wave the carrot, only and
big carrot.
And even the previous year, I'd said that to Mark. I always gauge championships by champagne bottles on our bay wall. Yeah,
at the workshop.
Yeah, if you've got enough of them, you've won the championship. And Mark actually had more, but he failed on the big points races.
That's right.
And so he was good enough to win it in '99. But I think 2 of the big points races,
I think Adelaide was one where he got a cramp. His foot went to sleep or something, and he crashed. And that was the first year the Enduros were part of the championship, and they were worth like double.
Yeah,
they were worth truckloads of points. And if you buzzer one of them up, you're in big trouble. So the writing was probably on the wall that year that he could have made it 4 in a row had he
potentially
not one of those things going on. But, when in 2000, actually rewind it, that Adelaide race in the wet of the Sunday, where Mark starts, it was 38th. Like, it was out the corner. Yes. Like, that's when there was that many cars to go around the corner, not these days. I think I talked about it with him recently that the bit I'd forgotten, not only does he win from the last, but he got a penalty. He did a drive-through to do it.
Yes.
Like, that's insane. Like, that doesn't happen.
Kept us on our toes.
Is that one of your... I mean, everyone goes to the Bathurst wins kind of as the highlights, but outside of Bathurst, is that the highlight, one of the highlights? Because it's crazy.
No, it's definitely up there. But and going back a year, we had the same thing with Lansing. Did one from the rear.
You guys in Adelaide would just...
So it was kind of like,
nuts.
We know how to do it.
We'll just do it again.
Yeah, but I mean, and they're both amazing. As you're running the car, it was, Jesus, pretty cool. And we got in, the lead, obviously, in that race, and then he decided to touch the white paint in the wet, run up the escape road just to make...
Oh, yeah, just add a bit of drama,
Add a bit more excitement to it.
Is that around that time when Breathe, Mark, Breathe became a thing? We'd hear you on the radio to him to remind him to take a breath, because I presume he just got so wrapped up in what he was doing that he forgot to take a breath.
Yeah, but it was also something he told me to ask him just to say, because it was, and he, part of his mental side of stuff, he said, it's, you're not telling me to breathe, it's more relaxed.
Yeah.
Don't
it's all right.
Chill, but
yeah.
But yeah, it became the Breathe, Mark, and Bars and Bice, and
yeah. remember it well. And that's sort of when they started to play the radio transmission bit, so you sort of became a mini star there.
Surely he knows how to breathe. So,
open your mouth and your nose, mate. Can't be that hard. So that year becomes Craig's last with HRT. The Ford deal comes through. It's known by Bathurst he's leaving, but Mark's got the championship on the line. They pair up. They get the Matt Neal thing happens, but they get it up. Yeah, the result's there for Mark to win the championship. Craig does his bit. He didn't let the team down, 100%. Despite the fact that everyone knew he was. Was it a bit of a weird thing that this guy, he was HRT, he'd been there since the world had kind of started to know who he was, and it was kind of like Peter Brock leaving Holden. It was kind of a
you're right. It was different, but I guess now you look at how things play out now, like drivers swap.
Yeah.
Round.
But the brand thing was so strong because there's Holden's being built willy-nilly and HSVs and Ford, and like it was at a peak.
As I said, I feel like there was a lot more of the behind-the-scenes stuff that they felt as brand lounge, I suppose, that they felt that the team's been moulded around Mark more than and Ford away and this big carrot, and it's like any football player, I guess. When opposition wave a big enough salary to you, it's pretty hard to knock it back, isn't
it? Yeah. So it's sad to see him.
100%
leave. Like if you had control, who would want perhaps the biggest name driver in the country at the time to leave? But I guess it made a big headline at the time for everyone writing the news stories. So
probably good for the sport.
Well, I mean, it injected. It put a guy on the other side of the fence to square off against you guys. It didn't work out that way, that they were able to challenge that Gibson 00 stuff, but he'd find his way eventually on that side of the fence. But you guys just charge on, like another couple of championships, a couple of Bathursts. Jason Bright comes in as well to drive the other car. So the machine doesn't slow down. Like it just keeps going. Despite Craig Lowndes stepping out.
But it was certainly still getting harder and harder because the sport was getting more competitive as you expect. You're never going to keep dominating like that. It was pretty cool era to be a part of, and certainly something I'm very proud of. But it's tough. It was hard work. But
that's so. And this is sort of tied in. So the whole Craig deal to go to Ford, Gibson flips from Holden to Ford, Murph sort of gets shaken up out of there. Kmart lands just around the corner from you in a Kmart racing team that was the Young Lions, and sort of ta-da, it's Kmart now with Murph and Todd. Did it get to that point in those next few years after that where the blokes around the corner in the business park with the other cars were more rivals to you than the best blue team out there? Like, was there a deeper rivalry internally among these sister teams than, Stone Brothers or whoever the Ford team was at the time, or DJR?
I guess you clearly have to have that in your mind because, the last thing we wanted was them beating us.
With your old stuff? Or with the same stuff?
Ultimately, they did beat us a few times as well. So, there's smart people over there and smart drivers. So it was a lot, the whole, I guess, Holden Motorsport side of in the Walkinshaw world was evolving quite a bit in those days. And as it turned out, there was, it probably ended up branching too much because I think at one point they had the PWR cars linked as well. And they were in another factory. So
plenty going on.
Plenty
happening. 0102 is, you spoke about it, the Golden Child, which was the nickname given to the car that did all that winning, 2 Bathursts. I've got the numbers somewhere. It was, crazy amount of wins and stuff. And you said about that era and that car kind of being your favourite. But what was you always gets asked about, what's the special sauce? Why did it work so well? But it's a bit of everything, isn't it? There's no one thing you can go, it's because we did that. Like it can't be.
No, there was no silver bullet. Like it was just getting a lot of things right. A lot of, the product was there, the driving standard was there, the strategies, everything working. There was always mistakes, but minimizing them and delivering when you needed to. And if you had a mistake, has it cost you, or is it just a hiccup sort of stuff?
Yeah. Your engineer, the engineer that's not an engineer at this point with Mark, you said about how he worked and operated and made you better in that area. Is he demanding in that period? Would you match up how that's his most dominant period in his career, that little point there? Is it because he was at his most demanding or his most relaxed, or a certain positioning in where he was at the time that, you go, okay, well, that's actually when he was at his peak in this particular area? Or I'm always intrigued in that, particularly now when you can look back at it too.
I feel, he's always been demanding, but in a good way. Like, it's just striving. But I felt, and he always said to me, when he come from Gibbos, if I ever say one of their team manager again, slap me around the head. As it turned out, he did end up there.
I was going to say, did you slap him around the head? Because he owned the joint.
Yeah, well, he was kind of forced into that.
Yeah,
but I think that, again, come at a cost again, though. I felt, Mark being who he is by nature, he's a control freak. So he...
they did it on the ads, didn't they?
Yes.
The HSV ads.
Yeah. So, I think, in that era when he was just purely driving, I think he was probably, more relaxed, just focused on purely driving the car and getting the best out of it. So
we'll touch on that in a minute. How close was that Bathurst win where the paper bags are catching in the front spoiler and the temp's going through the roof, and we're not pitting, because if we pit, we don't win the race.
Yeah, Jeff Robb was putting a bit of pressure on the pit, but I don't think anyone else was going to listen to him. And certainly Mark, I don't think, was going to listen to him. I was saying, no, just let it blow. Like, we're in the position. If we pit, we're not winning. So
yeah,
you've got to have
it. Everything or nothing.
And it was getting it got to the point, that it didn't have enough water in there, so it was basically, it's measuring steam anyway. So
So how much further could that thing have gone? Because this is an 02, the second year.
Well, they pulled the engine up, down and all that after it, and I felt like it was all okay, but then it went to Gold Coast and it grenaded itself up there. So I guess that probably tells you how close it was. But
then by that stage, the championship was wrapped.
Yes.
Like, he had it done at Bathurst with, I think, 3 rounds to go, which was kind of why they kept changing the point score every year, because it was kind of less. We won't have that this year with the finals. No one can go doing the Scapey and Robbie.
Still trying to get my head around the whole points thing. But I mean, personally, I know the way the TV rights and stuff are nowadays. It will never change. But I personally liked it. It was just the championship
points up and
then do enduros, open slab. That's
enduro's not part of it.
No,
separate. Just championship
done.
Enduros.
So that's
take it back to the old school.
Oh, I just felt, there's not the pressure of the championship. You're just purely going there to win Australia's biggest race.
It's an interesting one, because I still reckon everyone goes and puts their best foot forward for Bathurst. And like this year, but we won't be focusing or thinking about the guys who are trying to make the 10 in points. It's going to be about who's winning the race.
Yeah,
so we probably should decide who's in the 10 in the points at a previous round or two to make that the thing, because it'll always be overshadowed by who's winning the race at October. So anyway, we could argue that one till we.
I'm old school.
You're old school, Robbie.
Well,
love it. Old school. We couldn't have imagined. So we go from this period of Scapey winning 3 in a row, Craig winning 2 before that, year of not winning in Craig. So 6 out of 7. And then at the peak of this whole HRT dominance comes the news from overseas that TWR has collapsed. The team's future is in the air. Is that a question, like, at work in those days, is everyone wondering, am I going to have a job here? Like,
100%.
Like, take us inside that, because I don't feel like we ever really got the inside element there with the people who were affected. Like, the last thing you're probably thinking off the back of Christmas, and we're going to go and get our VY Commodores going, and we're going again, and then, holy hell.
Was a definite, like, what the hell is going to happen now? When it was such a big business, and clearly at that point there was the two teams. So, it was pretty stressful because, who's going to take it over? It's it wasn't a small amount of money to take it over because it was clearly a big business at that time. So,
and a staff worried that, am I even going to have a job here?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was no guarantee because you just didn't know, what are they going to take, I suppose, if he's owing money. I never obviously knew the finer details of all that sort of stuff, but certainly they thought, to a debt collector, I guess, there's an asset there we can just take. And so, or whatever. So, it was, and it certainly I felt it had a big impact on the whole organisation going forward after that.
Yeah, it was never the same. It was a different sort of a thing. And talking to Mark over time, like he felt, there were other players trying to grab it because it's a very prized asset, the factory Holden Racing Team with what it was and what it had become and been built as. And he felt a requirement to, there was, 40 people there, 30, 40 odd people who've got families to feed and, bills to pay and stuff to do, that I think he felt like a responsibility to try to find a way to keep this thing going. And if you look back on it, and I'm interested what he would think of it, I'm not sure I've spoken to him about it, but there's no way that doing all of what he did there to become the team owner and all the hats he had to wear as that.
That's what I said.
He was never the same driver after that. There's no one who could have not been like that.
Well, you too much stuff to focus on, and the stress of it. I imagine he wasn't sleeping as good the whole lot. Like, how was his fitness training and all that? He obviously was still very fit, but it's just too much pressure to still then to deliver results for the team he was now the owner of. So I always felt that he was, agree, he was never the same when all that happened.
No one could have been. Like, no matter how great they are. Like, he was still a race-winning driver. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he was a washed-up force. He was nowhere near that. But
still battling with Russell and that sort of stuff.
Oh, man. Yes, that was that. Oh, that was that year, wasn't it? That was later that year, wasn't it? But by 2003, so you became the team manager, though.
Yes,
that year. So was that just a natural evolution, or how did that?
Oh, I guess so. Pretty well. Yeah. It was. Just to know, been there, seen it all. How it kind of. I never got involved with the financial side of it. It was more just the race team, the race team running side of it.
Because as you said before, the Holden Motorsport entity that sort of encompassed the HRT, Kmart, the PWR / Team Brock thing came onto the park that year. The engine shop, all the bits of the whole thing. I think that's sort of where Jeff kind of became the manager of that entity.
Yes.
So therefore, of the red team, you became the red team manager. Did you feel comfortable with taking that on, or is it not in your natural sort of makeup to be a leader of people and someone who's sort of, people are answerable to you?
I guess it was a challenge for me to do it, and in hindsight, looking back, was I probably the best bloke for it? I really don't know. I'm probably, in some ways, I'm not by nature as forceful sort of a guy, and maybe I needed to have a bit more of that going for that role. But as far as I'm leading the guys and directing and being organised, and logistics and all that sort of stuff, I felt I ticked all those boxes. But it's a bit of a hard one. I mean, I guess we still managed to get a Bathurst win in 2005, so I guess tick that box as a team manager winning Bathurst.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as I said, the whole sport was getting more and more fierce, and again, there was more pressure because of all the other stuff that was going on. And do I miss being a team manager? Probably not. In hindsight, looking at it now, I'm not, don't regret having the opportunity to do it, but some people are better suited to it or not.
Yeah,
and we don't know until we try. And
things you would have learned.
We still had wins and stuff like
that.
Yeah. Still had plenty of good times, and
totally.
Proud of what we achieved, but ultimately at the end, I didn't stay there.
Yeah, no, we'll cover that. Red Pants fan or not?
It was good enough for a Ferrari, I guess. So
it's a mixed answer when I ask anyone from HRT about the red pants.
I feel it's better than white pants.
Easier to keep a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
That's definitely for sure. Black wheels, 2004.
No.
I still haven't found anyone who thought black wheels was a great idea.
No, I can't say. It doesn't bring good memories of anything. So
no, wasn't
not a fan of black wheels.
White wheels are nothing. Yep, no. I figured you were going to answer that way, but I thought I better ask that. But as you said, the game did get tougher, and then you had the internationalism coming with ProDrive buy out Glenn Seaton to make FPR, 888 come out and get themselves up and going. So that it's not just backyard Aussie blokes doing their thing. This thing starts to really, this gets serious. Like the stakes kept getting higher and higher.
Yeah, which is a credit to the sport and the guys running it, that it become lucrative, and that people from overseas wanted to get involved in it because it was a powerful touring car sport. So
yep, and I mean it's still got a great reputation overseas. The number of people, and you speak to people overseas who worked in racing for years, that supercars, like that's cool. Like it's got a good ring to it anywhere around the world, no matter the era. Like it's got a good vibe.
International drivers that have come and driven our cars.
Well, you had a few, didn't you?
I had a few, yeah.
Who'd you have over the journey here? Who springs to mind?
Trying to remember.
Jason Plato,
yeah.
What a lad.
Yeah. Probably got me in trouble at one of the nights at the Lewis Club.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what did he do?
I played a little prank on me with Matt Neal.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Well, was this the famous 2000 year?
Yeah.
What happened?
He decided that if you just go and give him a little push.
Oh, so this is the day that Matt Neal has been driving the big Kev car and caused the drama with Crompo and Scasey.
Yeah. And he'll just spot down behind him and then he'll fall over. He goes, it's a funny thing we play. It's called falling trees. So,
it's a pommy thing.
Pommy thing, yeah. Oh, yeah, whatever, mate. Have a few beers, I'll have a crack at that. Did it. And Matt Neal's a big bloke.
He's a big bloke.
And happened to execute the plan, and then, of course, Plato's bolted. He's done his part of the deal, and he's nowhere to be seen. And this big 6-foot bloke's wanting to belt me. Plato. No. Yeah. I survived that one.
You survived, and like they had an intense rivalry in the UK that at the time he probably didn't know about.
No.
He might not have mentioned that for you. Because he came back out later when Brock drove his last Bathurst with
him with Ivan Muller the first.
He was in 2000 with Jason. That's right. There wasn't too many internationals actually. I mean, later on there was international races on the Gold Coast where we kind of had to have overseas drivers, but
Dumbreck.
Peter Dumbreck was the super cheap car with you and Russell Ingall, I think.
He was good.
He was a Scottish guy. He was the guy that did the backflips at Le Mans in the Merc.
Yes.
The same year that Weber had the same stuff going.
He was a roofer bloke. Pat Long.
What an ace.
Yes.
He's a good lad, Paddy.
Yeah.
He drove the Bundy car with you guys, didn't he, with Fabian?
Yeah.
Who was the most everyone said Pat who?
Yeah.
He was coming to do the Gold Coast.
He was on.
He's a goer.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, you've had some good blokes steer those cars over the years. But so in that period of you being the team manager as well, and we haven't talked about him because he's a part of the win in 02, but Jimmy Richards.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime we say Jim Richards, it's awesome, but give me your Jimmy Richards take, because what a cool dude.
What a cool dude. And for the length that he was able to achieve and still be so fast, like he was just a ripper bloke to work with, like speed, just the obviously Scapia learned off Richo, and then, it was so cool when they paired up and got the famous speech. We're a bit nice on that.
Yeah. What was it? You're all a pack of lovely people
Yeah.
instead of us.
No, he was Richard. He's just a fantastic bloke, and we had plenty of good fun celebrations with Jimmy.
He was 55 when he went with you guys in 02.
But just perfect, like just super fast.
Yeah.
And and as you said later on when he crashed the car, and that was it.
Yeah,
no, it was when Scobie had his appendix. We tried to.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask
him the Sandown. We tried to get Jimmy. He goes, "No, I'm done. Sorry, mate. I told you then. That's it.
That's it."
But no, it was a ripper.
Crompton still bristles about not being able to take that drive, which was on the table because he'd been your ride car driver.
Yes,
with the PR2 ride car with the extra seat, and he was banging around on the old Bridgestones on ride days and having a ball with you blokes. So, and that's like big period time of, you guys went and built a dedicated ride car because the growth of the sport, you needed to be around the country doing ride days. You had sponsors here, there, and everywhere. Like it was a busy.
It was also the car that was,
and it was the rollover car, wasn't it?
So yes, it had kind of a bit of appeal to build it back. We might as well.
Let's do fun with it. Yeah, absolutely. So, absolutely.
And obviously the Richo picture was good because it was, back to back for us with Tony the year before. So.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people forget. His effort. He did a great job for you guys in that year in 01. So this is, we're into Project Blueprint by this point and then 07 is VE. So all of these, there's just always something new coming at you.
Yeah.
Change of era, change of model, change of tech, change of ownership. There's always something going on here.
Yeah. Managers, the whole lot. Drivers in and out.
Yep. And that's where I wanted to get to here because I start to get, not fuzzy, but before we did this chat, we had a quick chat to go, geez, I hope you've tried. Well, you're in and out a bit here, and I wanted to sort of get to the bottom of some of these things to get my memory bank back in. But, where are we? 08, there's a change where they've moved the guys from the HSV dealer team into the HRT. So Garth Tander comes in, Rob Crawford comes in, Teco, Matt Nielsen, I think, comes in as well in that era too.
Yeah.
So when I look back and Googled, there was a press release at the time saying that you had a new role with Walkinshaw Racing for 08 that would be announced, I guess, after that. What was that role supposed to be?
Just before we got into the year, but obviously at the end of the year before, Scopey had the big shunt prior to Phillip Island last round. We had to roll out a new car, I think. I think Phillip Island was the last...
In 07?
07.
Yes, so there was a brand new VE.
Which we had to build in 2 weeks or something.
I don't remember why you guys bowled a new one out, because it was his 200th round. But it ran under 200.
We had...
Maybe the previous one was damaged the previous round, Bahrain or something. Oh,
but it come out in, the old Fish Wrappers Auto Action Motorsport News. Those Ols busting my balls to build this car. And,
Oh, there's going to be this swap over.
It already come out, I said.
So this is how you guys learn it, reading at the lunchroom.
Craig Wilson at the time. I said, well,
what am I doing?
What's this? Oh, no, don't worry about that. That's all bullshit.
Oh, so the news breaking that these guys are going to swap from orange and black to red and white.
We obviously went through the last round, and is that the year Rick won?
The year Garth won.
Garth won.
Yep, correct.
And then after that, he goes, "Oh well, there's actually that was true." Thanks. Yeah, so that didn't go down well. Another bad point. So then it was initially I was going to be engineering Dave Reynolds in Supra. Car.
Yeah, that's right. He was in the development series of Tony D'Alberto's team. That's right.
And then Son McMurray had done the deal with PWR because they still hadn't sold their license or something like that.
They were going to be out, but they stayed in with a...
Yeah, so I got kind of contracted to go racing with them.
That's right. To engineer Andrew Thompson.
Yeah. But it was like, bit of a nothing year because it was like, there wasn't the enthusiasm to go and proper races in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, they were fulfilling their requirement because they had the license, they still had to. And
Still to run a car, you weren't able to just park it. Yeah.
So it was kind of a bit of a.
You feel like you're kicking the guts because you sort of like not only were you not, you know, you learnt it.
Well, all that was tough to take, but I understood it as well.
Business is business.
Business is business, and you know they clearly needed to make change, and I kind of felt they probably deemed me too aligned with Mark as well. So you know we need a clean slate, which you know that's how
that's
it
nice.
It's you know I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
I know the sport long.
Yeah. It swings and roundabouts.
So we did that for a year.
So you were with them at Bathurst the year that they had the big shunt where Paul Wheel got plowed into up the top.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
nasty.
Is that the worst damage you've seen to a race car?
Yeah. I would never
Tell me more about that one.
Oh, it looked like a bomb had gone off in it. Yeah. So that was very, very, very lucky.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't not injured, Paul. He did have a few injuries.
He had injuries, but
it could have been
way worse.
Horrible.
And it was pretty daunting because where the crash had happened, it knocked out the radio, so we had no radio contact at all. So that was obviously first thing you want to be able to do is speak to someone. Right, that was nasty.
Yeah, no, that's one chassis that never came back.
No.
Did some of the big shunts have been repaired, but no Houdini could bring that one back to go.
Good runs, and probably obviously I've been involved with a few big guys about.
Well, you've been around long enough, yeah.
Fabs's barrel roll at the chase was.
You were engineering him, weren't you? That year, the Bundy Red. So what was 09 for you? I've got a blank on my sheet here of what you were doing.
I was doing data then. I had a year trying to learn data with was the dealer team, I think it was.
So in 09 the dealer team was gone, so it was
HS3 race.
It was Paul Dumbrell was in an Autobahn car and Dave Reynolds was in a Bundy car.
Yeah, I was doing data with the Bundy car.
With Dave.
Yeah. I think Jason Bush was running it.
Oh, I can't remember now. But yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So okay, I can feel it.
And Krusty was running.
He was with PD.
Yep,
that's right. And Will Davison and Garth were at HRT. That's right. Okay, I've got you penciled in for 09.
Yeah, now, it was when so then I kind of, at that phase, I was kind of in the second team.
Yeah, and was it always felt like in that once Walkinshaw Racing had the two red cars and then the Super Cheap or the whatever?
I mean, it was a bit of a weird one. Like, probably more because in your mental head, you just kind of, you're so aligned with what car you're on, sort of thing. You know, even though obviously HRT was still having some good wins and stuff, but it was kind of hard to feel like you're part of those wins. It made
you learn different colours
pretty well. Even though now I've learned, you just look at it and go, we're all one.
We're all the one thing here.
Yeah. But it was a bit of like the Bathurst wins I had. I kind of
you wouldn't count them as yours, kind of thing.
No, but in reality,
yeah.
You know, if you look at the history books, probably I was working there, so it's
you could count it.
I could count it. I really want it. I might get close to Brock's 10.
Yes, I reckon you'd go well if we had these up. It's going to be a handy number. So there was with Fabian in 2010 and 11 the Bundy cars. So the big rollover in 10. So Bathurst Spites when it's not your day. That was the shortest Bathurst you probably would have had. I reckon lap 1.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had another car drop out on lap 1 over the.
Well, apart from the
Scathy 06. Okay. Fabian got a bit further around that one before he barrel rolled down through the sand there. But and then it was Ingle in 2012.
Yeah,
super cheap car. Back to red in 13 with James Courtney. As this is what I want to ask you. It felt like in that Clayton era, because there's a few management changes in and out of eras. They had different ways of structuring the performance engineering of cars. They went away from the engineer on each car, mechanics on each car. There was kind of a performance controller and I'm a bit foggy on who was with. It was almost like there was a double-pronged approach to all that to try to.
It certainly changed.
Yeah,
a fair bit. And there was different managers in and out a fair bit as well. So it was probably wasn't stable, I suppose. It's Steve Hallam was there for a bit. Tony Dow was involved there still for quite a bit. So he'd come away racing kind of, he oversaw the super cheap, that's side of the racing. So both with plenty of experience. But Steve Allen was only there for a year, which I always thought was, I don't know how it all unfolded there, to be honest. But I always thought you kind of just had a year to get used to this category, and then he was not there. So
there were. I mean, as I look through the list here, so you go back to Red with James in 13. So you're back to
A year with Russell was.
I was going to say, I think Bryce Seals was in last year on a trip back from the States, and we had a catch up with him. I don't think it was a rough time in that sort of period. I think you'd probably put it.
Yeah, but I Russell was
because he'd been a rival of yours.
Yes,
he was
the ultimate, wasn't he?
Yeah. So how is it when the rival ends up in your?
The funny thing was, in some ways they were very similar. But it was a bit. I could handle. Russell's a hard bloke to work with, but I was conditioned enough to
say it all.
But but it was still a good time to work with a different driver and stuff like that. And back then it was still running a car, so it was good, and didn't quite get the podiums that we probably were close to a few times, but that was interesting. But it was kind of during that period, in some ways, led to them wanting maybe I could have a crack back at HRT. So
it's kind of almost you play good in this.
Yeah, I think Tony Dow felt that I could handle Russell pretty good, so he felt
You need someone senior to sort of be able to.
Yeah, it may not be a bad mix with James.
Yeah. So So back in Red, 13 James. So this is in that era where you guys were mega at Adelaide. Yep. No matter the era, no matter the driver, the type of car, the car of the future, the blueprint, what was it with Walkinshaw's HRT / whatever the banner was in Adelaide?
Home of Holden, wasn't it?
Well, apart from that, like I don't know, 2 years in a row, it's just crazy.
Yeah, just whatever reason, and I guess for a long time there, our HRT cars were good on street circuits, and certainly that was always It's always, as you know, if you roll out and they're comfortable, you get to fine tune them. Whereas if you roll them out and they're mid pack and you start throwing darts at the dartboard because you're not finding the silver bullet, which doesn't exist. But there's always the pressure to keep finding something.
Yeah, as you go along and the things we get to car of the future, so motor racing's becoming more standardised. We've ended up at Gen 3, which is the sort of the band of what you can do is being narrowed all the way through. Does that start to take some of the fun out of it?
I think so. Yeah.
Without wanting to do that, it was better back in my day, but everything evolves. But
the thing is, I don't feel it's made sport cheaper. So that's what the whole purpose was. I don't feel like they've achieved that, to be honest. So, I'm probably saying the wrong thing there.
Oh no. There's no cheap race cars anymore.
No, so it's like it's still an appealing sport and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like you do take a bit of the fun out of it.
Yeah. I'm going to do the rest of the youth here, mate, because there's the experience level's high here, but it's probably not in the way that you want it to be going. But I think you became the overarching crew chief across both HRT cars in 15 here, from what I've got. 16 in mid-season, you get put back onto engineering James because you'd been Walkinshaw GT, because there's a Porsche program at the time in the Australian GT Championship. Partway so the HRT Holden backing ends at the end of that year. So it wasn't Mobile One HSV Racing, I think, was the brand after. It's 2017, before the Andretti United element. So Adrian Burgess goes partway into 17. You're the race strategist on race weekends. So there's a period here where you're not going to races. Like, you're not in the pit lane for a chunk of this, I presume.
Yeah.
Workshop based.
Not much fun.
Not happy to just be at the workshop, I'm guessing.
No. It's got to get my racing fix.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like the real stuff.
True. So you're back in engineering in 18 with Scotty Pye, get a win at Albert Park, runner-up at Bathurst a couple of years in a row with he and Luffy.
Yeah. There's an underrated guy.
I was about to say, give me your Warren Luff take, because...
He is the perfect co-driver. Like, there's no fuss. He's fast. But he still gives good feedback, on car direction and stuff like that. And even now, he's mentoring the Super 2 program, the Toyota guys. It's just a ripper bloke. Like those podiums, a lot of them I've credited to Luffy, because we've put him in the car to start with the main guys
in the wet.
And
no problem.
He just did the job.
Slice through.
But it then set you up for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You got out of sync with, then you had Scott versus the co-drivers, and managed then, because we didn't qualify good enough like we'd wanted, but always moved away forward and got good, back-to-back good results. And close, but not nice to go.
But more Bathurst podiums and more champagne bottles. So there's a couple of years with Scott for 2 years, then Bryce Fullwood comes along, and then COVID. So that changes everything again.
Yeah.
Weird times, isn't it? It feels like yesterday, some of all that stuff.
Yeah, because then when COVID hit, obviously I'd done Adelaide with Bryce, then we got to the Grand Prix, we were there, and then we went.
Then we weren't.
And then, I got pulled off the car, because obviously then they were culling numbers of crew you're allowed to take or whatever. And originally I wasn't even travelling, I don't think. And then it was, all right, we need to escape.
Oh, I did the border dash and all that
stuff. So then it was 107 days on the road. So.
And were you dashing? Or just stayed home? You dashed?
I dashed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How did that all go?
It's an experience to talk about.
Well, the guys and girls who did that can't remember what month it was in 2020, to get out of Victoria before they shut the borders.
As my wife keeps reminding me, you weren't doing it tough. But she's probably right. I couldn't complain.
Yeah, well, good weather.
I said we just had to keep the sport going.
Well, I was about to say that, though. If you guys and girls who all went away from home for 3 and a bit months, if you didn't do that, Supercars is, I don't know where it's at right now.
Yeah.
Because it had to keep going. And if it didn't get going, the business was in a huge drama. So as a sport, we owe all you guys and girls who went and did that a huge.
It was an experience, and we all look back at it was a good team building time, and the crew that went away, we had to work hard, and it was a lot of things were difficult, like servicing and stuff, doing stuff at the racetrack or shipping it back,
getting stuff set up and back.
So that logistically, you had to plan all that stuff quite a bit, because I was managing sub-assembly as well at the time. So I was doing sub-assembly work at the track as well as mechanicking and that sort of stuff, and then logistically
had it all going on.
But we obviously then did have some downtime as well. We had some fun adventures as well, and we could get out and walk more of a 5K radius.
Yeah, you had it on us, that's for sure. You definitely had plenty more to do than we did. And in those, the WAU era, fill me in on those couple of years, because you've been, the Super 2 program and the Toyota kids that you got at WAU coming through, but 21, 2, where were you once we washed through COVID a little bit there?
So 21, I pretty well did some of the shorter COVID dash. I did that one, but basically workshop based, then sub-assembly running that. I did a couple of races, Super 2, went away with Eggleston's. And then 22.
Was it 21? I think you did Bathurst with Eggleston's to keep your streak alive.
I've got it, babe.
Because I remember you
Oh, probably hadn't even thought about it.
Yeah, because I'm just going back to what year it was in the paddock that you had been to Bathurst every year. Even the COVID year you were there in 20. If you wound all the way back to 1991, I guess, you hadn't missed a year at Bathurst.
Yeah.
And you weren't due to be on the WAU crew in 21, but you went to work with Eggleston's because WAU wasn't in Super 2 at the time.
Yeah,
Hit street going.
First time in a lot of years I watched a race as a punter.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, and it was cold.
Well, you don't think of those things when you got your eyes on the screen worried about your race car.
And I was 22, trying to remember. Fill my memory.
Oh, I'm trying. 22. Are you doing enduros? Are you main gaming? Are you workshop based? So 22 is Percat and Mostert. So last year of the Commodore ZB, the retro colours in Adelaide.
No, I think I was travelling that year.
Yeah, you're on the team.
Yeah, and I was pit stops. So I was doing airjack.
Right.
Yep.
So it's
back in I think I travelled as like a number 3 mechanic.
Yeah,
but did pit stops and looking after stuff.
This is pretty much no role that you haven't done.
No.
When you add them all up over all the stuff we've talked about.
I haven't touched an engine apart from putting them in and out.
Right.
So don't do that.
Well, no one gets to do that anymore anyway. They just put them in and take them out, don't they? So you're not missing out there.
No, some Toyotas coming along.
Oh, yes. There's some big stuff coming, which we're looking forward to seeing pretty soon. Actually, as we record this, we're not far away from the unveil of the Supra, which is exciting. And, I'm not going to press you for any info or anything like that. But
another truck trip I've got to do.
We'll see you there. I want to ask you too. So you've been working with the Super 2 kids at Walkinshaws and the Toyotas, and when you've got all these young kids who are bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, they've got hopes and aspirations, they're hungry to succeed. Does it take you back to those days of working with the young Lownsies and the young Murphs and stuff? It makes you almost feel young again. It does. Sort of gives you that enthusiasm.
Yeah, I guess I'm the old head now.
But that's not a bad thing.
No, it's good. Like, certainly when Woody first got in the car.
You knew.
He was like, this kid's quick.
Yeah.
Like, you might need to let it a few kegs, but...
which he's done.
Yeah. I can see him winning the championship. At some point, he's a pretty talented kid, and he's dedicated to it, and he's just, as you can see, his progression's been amazing. So good help, what do you call it, teammate with Mozzie, obviously, to help him progress there, and yet we had young Batesy last year, which he obviously then learned off Woody that previous year, so that was good.
Yeah,
good mix, and to win the championship with Batesy as broke the drought for a long time.
Yeah, been a little while. And with Ryan Wood now, it brings bloody Murph back into the garage at your joint.
Yeah,
it's like, geez, can't get rid of him.
No. But again, he's a perfect bloke for Woody.
It's been great. It's been really, really great. You have all these things we've talked about, all these things that you've done along the way, and roles and sort of in and out and up and across and sideways, and all the people you've worked with. Is your story one of don't say no to a challenge? Don't take a move sideways as a move backwards. Everything's an opportunity, and if you just get on with your job, it all works out.
Pretty well. Yeah, like I learned pretty early that in this sort of sport, you need to be flexible. Certainly when it was a small team, you had to do more of everything, a bit of this, bit of that sort of stuff. So, and I still love getting my hands dirty. I've never been, probably why I've never been a proper engineer, because I'm not one to just sit at a laptop and look at squiggly lines. That's one side of my engineering as such. I've never been good at looking at the data side of that stuff. I'll leave that to someone a bit smarter to sort that stuff out. And I'm always been more, not seat of the pants, but more just
practically led.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Do that side of stuff.
But
I still love getting my hands dirty. I still believe in, it's not a 9-to-5 job. You work to what you need to do to get the job done. I'm not one of these guys that
5 o'clock. I'm out the door.
No.
We looked at our watches at exactly the same time.
But and there's plenty of people like that, and which is no problem. That's the way it is. But I think my upbringing of it was you just I always set my own work goals for the day, and if I haven't got to that point, well, looks like
we're going to get it. Yes. What's your goal now, mate? Like this resume of yours and all the stuff.
I've got to get 35 years to start with.
Right. What do you get at 35? Do they give you something? Or?
Hopefully Ryan can give me something.
I'm sure he could come on. We'll start we'll start putting the pressure on for you.
Yeah, so Feb 28 or 9 next year, I think. That's when I'll clock it up.
That's the anniversary?
Yep.
Oh, well,
it's got to
be a function, I'm sure. Come on now.
Well, the new era, Toyota. So
well, it is. Yeah.
So
Well, and there's been a lot of, there was a long era at Holden Racing Team, WAU of Holden's, big shift to Ford, but now another shot. Not long later, another swap to Toyota.
Fantastic.
It's exciting.
I'm excited because one you're back as a factory team and homologation team. Yeah, that's another manufacturer in the sport, which the sport needs, and a great motor company to be involved with. So exciting. I'm hoping that I get to travel a bit with it next year, but because unfortunately, we're not doing the Super 2 next year. Maybe when Toyota can run in that, we'll be back into that. But it's hopefully I'll get to travel a bit with that. If not, I'll find something to do.
We'll find a way to see us pop it up at a track somewhere somehow. What's the goal for you now? Given your body of work is so amazing, you've won so much stuff with some of the biggest names in the sport in a celebrated era. New challenges, new things that get you up out of bed of a day. A new supercar program, no matter what role you've got connected to it in the building, is exciting. What keeps you going?
That is exciting. I'd still love to see one of our, main game guys win a championship. It's been a bit dry for us for a while, so I think that's what the whole team's striving for, and that's the ultimate goal. It's going to be tough to do anything this year, so new car next year, a new manufacturer. There couldn't be a better way to start. It's going to be tough, as I said. Like, it's a new car, it's unproven. We won't know until we start running it, and it's
it'd be boring if we knew all the answers, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, exactly. So I still love the racing fix. It's hard. I'm not going to lie that the old body's going to feels it a bit more, and you come away a bit more knackered. But with Super 2, I still drive the truck back, so it's
You are a hands-on guy.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to loosen any fingers away from the hands-on element of you, are we? It's definitely not going to happen.
No, and that's what I love. Like, I like to think I'm part of the cogs in the workshop, in the team, that they can rely on me to do whatever they want me to do, and I'm always putting my hand up for that.
No, you're more than the cogs of that team. You are a part of the furniture of V8 supercars and Aussie motor racing, mate. A couple of quick ones before we finish. Have they ever given you a chance to drive a V8 supercar?
Nothing in anger.
Okay, so just tootling around the pits? Is that what we're sort of talking?
Yeah.
But not on like a ride day or something, someone's...
No, like, I wouldn't give me the keys to the car, let's be honest.
Well, no, I was thinking that if you said no and that you hadn't, and you just said about the 35 years thing, and they're going to not be in Super 2 next year...
I wouldn't let me loose.
Come on, like, put a rev limiter on it, put a speed restrictor on it, something. Surely the bloke with how many championship wins and Bathurst wins gets to drive a supercar for his 35th anniversary.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, I'm not saying let you loose in the new Toyota Supra. That would be a stretch too far, but I think we could let you loose in something a little bit more older.
I'd love if you could tell me how many podiums in the race wins I've had in my life, because I sure as
Mate, I need 900 episodes of this podcast to be able to do that, but I can go and figure that out, but it's... Lots and truckloads is definitely the way.
It's a pretty cool experience for a journey that's been totally unexpected. I've got a lot to thank for my reality. I wouldn't have got probably the job apart from my brother was there at the time.
And we didn't cover this off. How long was he at HRT with you?
He was there to 93, and then he didn't get along with Neil Lowe.
Right.
Either, and
that was that.
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's gone on to his own stuff now, which he enjoys that. So
Cool. You've worked with all these great drivers, the Brocks, the Lowndes, the Scafies, the Murphs, Jimmy Richards, all these guys. Are you a memorabilia guy? Have you got some cool stuff from over the journey that's come your way? Or because the guys are either hoarders or they've got nothing.
well, back earlier, it was easy to get stuff. Like, I've got quite a good collect. I've got a Brock helmet, Longhurst helmet, Lowndes helmet, Murph helmet, gave you a couple of helmets.
That's cool. I love that stuff.
Bathurst winning steering wheel, Bathurst winning bonnets.
Oh, lovely.
Championship winning steering wheel. Back before they had the dashes and all that stuff in them. But plenty of picture frames, model cars. Got too many, according to my wife. I bought another one of them. Funny, my wife says exactly the same thing. Same bill. It's like, oh, well, I've got to have one.
Well, you've got to have the one of all the cars that you've worked on, as that's a big model cabinet, I would have thought.
No, I'd probably scaled it back a bit when I moved house. I used to have all the champagne bottles.
Yeah.
But I kind of just gathering dust in the garage, and it's probably sad to say, but I just put them in the recycling bin.
There's only so much you can do with so much. That's definitely the case. Mate, thank you for popping by today.
No worries.
We've been talking about this for a little while, getting together and telling your story, because it's an awesome one, and I love telling the stories, particularly the guys who might not be behind the wheel and get all the plaudits, because guys like you are the heartbeat of the sport, and that resume of yours is unbelievable. But the best bit is that there's still space left to add plenty of stuff on the bottom of it, mate. So,
and I hope there's plenty more good chapters, because I love the sport, I love the people involved in the sport, and the team I'm with is fantastic, and I'm I guess Walkinshaw through and through. So
you are very much so. Well played, Jim.
What's that? Sorry.
Well played, Jim.
Yeah.
If you didn't listen to the first part of this podcast, you won't get that, but you'll have to go back and listen to the first part. Yeah. No, Robbie, in all seriousness, mate, thank you so much. Thoroughly appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed doing this as much as I have.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Because I know this is not your normal thing, that the media stuff and all that's not your normal bag, but you've always done a good job with it. So thanks for sharing your story.
It's a good listen to people that listen to this sort of stuff. So
it will be.
It's been fun, mate.
Guarantee it.
Thank you.
Great stuff. What a great bloke. Genuine, skilled, and so humble. A hero of Aussie motor racing is Rob Starr. That sums him up to a T. And by the way, Rob Starr's surname is with 2 R's. So when you send your friends a text or an email to tell them that you enjoyed this episode and that they should listen to, make sure you get the spelling right. Right. A big thanks to Rob for taking the time to come in and sit down. Fair to say, we could have kept talking. In fact, we did after we turned off the recorder. Maybe that's part 3 for somewhere down the track that we can go back over and explore a few more years, because I'm sure he is not done yet. He's going to be around for a very long time to come. I hope you enjoyed this chat with Rob Starr. I got a lot out of it too. I'll catch you next time on the V8 Sleuth podcast for the National Motor Racing Museum. Catch you soon.